Hello everyone, this is Dee Bryant from Dee Bryant Inspired. I just want to say welcome for joining me on my Dee's Parent Talk video. Today I wanted to answer a question as to why is it I decided to write my children's book, which is Girls Wear Combat Boots Too. And so for those of you that may know, I do have two young adult daughters, but when my girls were in preschool, elementary, and also middle school, I was a very active parent. I was very hands-on, always volunteering for everything in the classroom. And I was even PTF president once upon a time, many years ago. And so because of those relationships, I was able to develop, some serious bonds with teachers, parents, students, and administrators when it came to our kids. And so the relationships that I was able to form with our young people, I began to realize that I wanted to do more in order to help encourage our young people to be great and to realize that they are enough just as they are. And so because of my background, I'm military retired in the Army 21 years. And so I had the opportunity while serving in the Army to go to the Army Airborne School. And so I've had the opportunity to jump out of an airplane. And so as I began to think about what is in my background that I could use to help bring forth a story to our young people where they would really get excited and appreciate it. And so I began to think about my jumping out of airplane days. And so that's kind of how I started to form my thoughts in terms of possibly writing a children's book in reference to jumping out of an airplane, which is what this book is basically about, is about getting over fear and living that childhood dream to someday jump out of an airplane. And so I began to put pen to paper, and I began to formalize the story. And after that, after I thought it was good enough, I began to identify certain illustrations that I thought would go really nicely with the book. And so all the illustrations that I have in my book were created by an illustrator that I found out online. And the strangest thing is that we developed such a good relationship. I was able to just do a narrative, and based upon my narrative right up to him, he was able to pretty much, create these illustrations for my book. And so, and then I started pacing, my story and then plugging in certain pictures into the story. And before I knew it, it became a book that I think that a lot of you are actually enjoying today. And I'm just extremely grateful. And so, before I actually wrote my children's book, I had the opportunity to write my first book, which is Holding On and Not Giving Up on Self. And because of that first book, super excited. I was out doing book signings. I did book fairs. I did a huge book fair in Baltimore, the Baltimore Annual Book Fair. And I remember I was just, trying to get people to come to my table just to hear my little pitch. And I was just trying so hard, and I just instantly began to realize that a lot of the adults and the children were actually gravitating towards the children's table. It's like, what? It's like, what can I do? Because I want to be a part of that too. And so this is how my, the thought of writing a children's book actually got started. And so, so I wrote the book, and I was able to go out and find a publisher that could help me, publish the book and promote it and do all the things to kind of get some recognition. Paid a lot of money for that. And so there are cheaper ways to go, trust me, when it comes to writing a book other than the way that I did it. And so, but I'm here to tell you today that all of you out there, you have a story. You have a story that someone can benefit from. And so because of that, I want to encourage you today to think about what that story is, and think about how you can share your thoughts in a book to help our young people be great, because that's what it's all about. It's all about helping our young people be great. And so for those of you that may not know, I'm in the process of really pushing my book now. And so I just recently got it republished. It was just last year I got it republished under my name. And so what that means is that now I will hopefully eventually start reaping some of the benefits Early on, it's kind of like being under a publisher. There's some book sales going on, and then you get your small little residual in the end. And so, but for me, for the last 6+ years, I've just been pouring into my books and my brand in terms of really just trying to help get the word out, and trying to be a part of the community, which I have not been very successful at, by the way. But I am going to do better. I am determined to do better, to become more community engaged, and also to do what I can to help make a difference in our young people's lives. And so I want to do some hands-on stuff, and so I'm really interested in that. So all I can say is just stay plugged into my social media, my Facebook and Instagram, to kind of see what I'm doing. And I know that my team is getting ready to we're going to do a book signing campaign starting here in Maryland, and then we're going to branch out to some of the other states, specifically focus on my children's book. So I'm super, super excited about that. And so all I can say is just that, it is so great to be able to do something where I'm actually giving back. And I kind of see my book writing efforts as being my opportunity to give back. And that's kind of what I really inspired to do. And so, but yeah, so it's not that hard to do. So like I said, you all have a story. And I am challenging you today to put your story in writing and to transform it into a book and see what happens. And you're going to be so amazed. You're going to be so amazed after you realize that it's necessary to put time and energy into the effort. Just writing a book? No, you have not made it. You have not. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scene to go beyond that. And so I encourage you to do it today. Okay? So I hope that I did a good job answering that question in terms of why is it I decided to write my children's book. And so I hope and pray that someone got something out of this today. And so I just want to encourage you to start writing your own book today. Okay? You got it in it. You got it in you. You do. You have a story inside of you. So let's pull it out of you and put it on paper today. Okay? All right. Well, thank you all so very much for joining me today. And so until next time, stay safe and blessed, and take good care. Bye-bye.